Finally, the last episode of what has become a trilogy of the URS4. The verdict. So how extensive was the damage? What parts can I reuse and resell? And was it worth it? So the damage itself, as we know, it hit a tree, and from that image you can really clearly see where it embedded itself in the tree. And here is said tree. And you can see by the size of it, it wouldn't have had any give at all. Absolutely solid. Let's check out what that looks like under the bonnet, shall we? So here it is once I've stripped everything out the way, and let me tell you, there was lots of fucking shrapnel everywhere. It actually doesn't look too bad in that picture, but everything was absolutely pancake flat. Well, flat to say, contoured to the tree. All the ancillaries on the right of the engine and the bracket holding them was absolutely fucked. Here we see the point of impact, and as you can see, it's just about on the chassis rail, just to the left of the chassis rail. But it hadn't bent the chassis rail or twisted it, it had just absolutely flattened it. From the side, it looks like there is no chassis rail, it looks like it's been cut off. Effectively, it's been shown, I think, somewhere in the region of 400 to 500 mil. That's some serious energy that's gone through that chassis. So where else is that energy gone? That's what's left of the subframe. That's the prop shaft. Engine mountings. And the tunnel. The tunnel is absolutely fucked. It is creased and punctured. So the inner wings pretty obliterated. Across the scuttles all bent. And the frame itself is bent. The roof is bent. So what does that mean for the engine itself? Well, on the first turn of the engine, it seems remarkably free. Well, that's because the crank bolt's a bit loose. Oops. Well, I say loose, it's not even finger tight. And then behind that, there's a sheared crank pulley. Hand cracked crank pulley. And did you spot the other major issue? Yep. A water pump housing has been smashed off. So not looking great, hey? But once I'd fully stripped it and checked it out, the head seems okay, the crank seems okay, and the block, other than the water pump, actually seems not too bad. Could be repaired, but probably a step too far for myself. So I'm going to keep my original engine, and this block is for the bin. Sort of. So now we know the full extent of the damage. Was it worth it? So the car itself was just $3,225. Dirt cheap. So as you know, I bought this at auction, and with an auction comes auction costs. They were $515. So in total, it cost me just $3,740, which is just ridiculously cheap. Bear in mind, the engine that I bought from the UK stands me at $8,500 just for the engine. However, the engine on this one's not very well. We knew it was a gamble, such is life. So clearly the purchase costs are not the only costs involved. we had the massive road trip. So first, the ferry. That was $1,850. We hired a trailer. That was $700. And fuel, that cost me $850. So taking all that into account, it was still only $7,140. Still cheaper than the engine. Hence, it was worth a punt. It was worth a gamble. Now, the whole point of getting this car was as a donor for the Sport Quattro, but there's plenty of other parts on this that are not suitable that I can hopefully get rid of and gain some money back. So what did we manage to sell? So quite a few engine parts, the main part being the head. And for the engine parts, I got $3,000. Electronics, it came to $650. Some interior parts, managed to get rid of those, $850 for those. And then also some mechanical parts, so suspension, hubs, brakes, that sort of thing, $1,900. So I don't think that's too bad. Just $740 in the red, once I've sold all the stuff I don't need. So what's left? What can I reuse? Well, big ticket item is the gearbox. I don't have a 6-speed 0-1E gearbox, and although this one seems to have made its way through the tunnel, it actually seems good. I've checked it out as far as I can, and I'm saying this is a win. So the gearbox is good. So what is it worth to me? Well, the most recent one that I found for sale was in the UK, 700 quid, $1,500. If I then factor in all the shipping and excise costs, etc., same with the engine, then it comes out to around $4,000. That's a massive amount and a big saving. And that significantly then puts me into the green. So what else? Rear diff. Rear diff I'm only going to cost it $400 because I picked one up recently locally for $400. Seats I'm going to reuse in the project, so conservative estimate on buying something similar, $1,000. And the wheels, got to be worth $800. So as far as I'm concerned, that puts me around $5,500 in the green, which is good. So, was it a worthwhile exercise? Well, from my point of view, just to get the gearbox out of it is a worthwhile exercise. It'd have been really nice to have a second engine, but I haven't. But anyway, was it worth it? Yes, absolutely. But there is one more thing. A bonus.
Is that an engine?
That is indeed an engine. Well, the block to be precise, in the dishwasher. But don't tell my wife. She's only going to find out when she watches this video, so yeah, wish me luck. Might be in the hospital tomorrow. So this is what it looks like out of the dishwasher, and then with a bit of a scrub and some anti-rust protection on it. Doesn't look too bad, does it? Apart from the big fucking gaping hole where the water pump should be. What to do with it? I have an idea. So yes, I think you've got the idea. It is going to be a coffee table. Now it is just missing the glass at this point. Otherwise it is done. Some LEDs in it. These are what's called, the software that runs these is called WLED. So highly configurable, lots of different effects that you can have with it. But yeah, they're pretty slick in the end. So here's some effects that it'll do. As I said, just needs a glass top on it and we're all sorted. Got to have some sort of souvenir from the massive road trip. After all, 5,000 kilometers, 6 days. A little reminder of the effort that has and will be involved in putting this project together. And when it gets to the winter, I can always put the fire on and get nice and warm. Cheers.